Hi, I'm Josh from Comet, and today I'm going to be walking you through configuring your Comet server for the first time. So I've downloaded the server from cometbackup.com once I've signed up, and I've basically run through the installation program, and now it presents me at the setup wizard. So let's carry on configuring it. The first step is where it asks you for a serial number. So the serials itself, you can generate these for free from your account in Comet Backup. You can just simply create them, use as many as you like because they're completely free for you. So we've entered our serial. The next step is configuring where you want to be able to access your Comet server interface. So for example, this is the address that suits me. Also, while you're in the section is where you can configure your server's SSL. So you might have read that we support Let's Encrypt. Well, this is where that you can configure that for this server. So Let's Encrypt, which you can read more about in a documentation page, provides a lifetime free auto-renewing SSL, which is quite nice. But for the purpose of this, let's carry on. Next section is admin accounts. So Comet server by default has a generic admin account. You can, of course, customize this, add more users to suit. Also choose the level of security that you want on the password as well. It's completely up to you, but let's just carry on with that. And the server has started, so we're now able to log in. So we'll just use our admin account. And now we can log in for the first time. So we've got some details here, basically telling us for the first time about how to get started, where documentation is, some details about the server, but we need to continue configuring it. So the first thing we need to do is head to the section here. It talks about heading to the About Server page and editing the configuration. So about the server, setup wizard, and we can begin configuring the server further. So now we're just confirming once again, now that it's up and running, we can configure this directly from within Comet as well. So the serial, and next is the server branding. So we can configure this, yeah, why not? We can configure the branding for the server itself. So we've got the title header, the image, the color, the tab icon, customizable for you. And next is the ability to send email reports to your customers. So you can configure this how you want to send, if you want it by MX or SMTP. This is also the location where you can turn off the email reports for your customers. Next step is once again the network, where you're reaching this from, admin accounts, and now the authentication role. So by selecting authentication role, what it basically says is yes, you allow people to log into the server. So this server administrates basically your customers and their data. So now we're at the section where it's requesting a storage vault. So what that means is with the customer's client, when they install it on their machine, when it comes time for them to run a backup, it asks where they want to back it up to. Now, what the screen allows you to do is it allows you to configure, well, customize the name of the destination it's being backed up to. So, you could have this as, Josh's secure vault. And when the customer backs up, that's all they're going to see the destination as, that secure vault. So this is quite nice if you're wanting to also rebrand some cloud destination as well. The customer doesn't necessarily need to know if you're using S3 or something like that. You can completely rebrand that. And next is the role for configuring replication. So if we're wanting to replicate the customer's user profile data, we'd simply add in the details of the server that we're going to be replicating with. And next is just some further advanced properties around what you'd like to do with how long you'd like to keep job logs for, and also if you want to generate missed backup entries. So for primary servers, yes, it's good to have it on because obviously then you know what's missing. But if this is simply a replica server, well then there's no reason to really create missed entry logs. Next is we're configuring the storage role. So we'll set the server can be auth. Now we're also saying it can be storage. So data can be stored on the server as well. So now all we're simply doing in this screen with the storage role locations is choosing basically the options and where data can go. So for example, we could add in a local path of a storage vault, or we've got other options here if we wanted to go to Amazon, SFTP, or Azure. We can simply add in the details here and that'll get saved as a destination so that there's another option when it comes to backing up the client. And then we've got the role of replication. So to be able to replicate that data, it's just as simple as pointing this to another Comet server with the replication role enabled. Then we've got the software build role. So what this means is this server can generate desktop clients that you can use to back up your customers. So selecting yes from this. And now I've got a bunch of options around how I want to brand and customize the client. So I can configure the product name, company name, the colors, the icon, the tile, the help section on cometbackup.com. So there is essentially a page on the desktop client that you can configure if you want it to go to a web page on your website or something like that might have some contact details that customers are able to find details about how to easily get in contact with you. And then next is just confirming some further options for the software build role about who's going to be able to download the software. And then we've got the constellation role. So the constellation role is really the role that provides the maintenance for the Comet server. It looks for unused buckets or orphan data that's no longer needed and prunes it. So this can be enabled on a single server, like what we're sort of doing here, or it can be enabled if you've got multiple servers. Now, if you've got multiple servers, the constellation role has to be able to see all of the servers in basically deployment. So the next screen I'll explain that a little bit more. So we'll select I've only got one Comet server, or I might have multiple, but this is the main one. So this is the next section where you'd add in all your other servers for the constellation role to be able to look across. Because if it's looking to prune unused buckets, orphan data, that type of thing, it has to see everything in your environment. Because if it's only seeing one part of it and it's not seeing it in two places at once, if replication's at play, for example, it might get pruned. So it's critical that you have all of your deployments available in here for it to be able to see as a target. Now, if you're not ready for this role to be enabled yet, you can leave this box unchecked. As it says here, leave disabled until you're satisfied and you're happy that you're quite familiar with Comet. When you are ready, you can obviously check this box here, and then it will begin its automatic sort of cleanup and maintenance process itself. And then simply hit save. Server will restart, and then you should be able to log in again. And now you've configured your Comet server. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, feel free to send us an email or leave them in the comments below.